How's it going, guys? Welcome to part 2 of the bioactive terrarium build. If you haven't watched part 1, you should go watch it now. Finishing off from part 1 here, we are just going to empty all the cocoa fibre that was left from the background out of the bottom. After we're done with that, we just hoover the rest of it up and then hoover the background so none of the cocoa fibre does end up falling off into the substrate once it's all in. For the drainage today, we're just going to be using some ProRep BioLife drainage. I think I used the whole 10 litres in this build. This is my first time actually putting a drainage layer in. So here I just put in like half the bag after almost dropping it all on the floor because the handle actually came off. Unfortunately, guys, I can't actually link any of the products in the description because I went out and got loads of these from my local reptile store called Wrigglies. This is their About Us page. Welcome to Wrigglies. We are an independent family-run reptile specialist. We have branches across Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire and South Northamptonshire. So there you go. If you're in the area, check them out. They are great, very knowledgeable and really helped me with this build. There wasn't a lot of it left, so I ended up just adding the rest of it in, since there wasn't enough to actually make another build. Once I was done spreading out all of the drainage layer, I ended up using sphagnum moss instead of using some sort of like window screen mesh or weed barrier as a barrier in between the drainage and the substrate, which is very important to stop any mold and too much moisture in the substrate. This way I don't have to cut any sort of anything to size to fit into the bottom. Just literally pour the sphagnum moss into it and just flatten it out as tight as you can. That way it doesn't get lifted up by any sort of reptiles or amphibians that might be digging. I did end up actually putting too much sphagnum moss in, so I did just take some out, put it back in the bag, but this was later used in the substrate. After breaking up all of the clumps of sphagnum moss, I just then pushed it down really tight so nothing could get through it. Here you can see how tightly down it's packed. Now we're going to move on to the substrate. This is really good substrate for bioactive terrariums. It's jungle bedding. It's a soil and sand mixture. Here I'm just dumping it into a bucket. And then what we're going to do here is just add the rest of the sphagnum moss that we didn't use for the barrier and just chuck the rest of that in. After it was all mixed together, it's time to put it all into it. I kind of sloped it down to make about like half an inch deeper at the back, just added that little bit more depth. Here I'm just pushing it down to compact it a little bit more. And boom, this is what it's looking like so far. In part 2 we'll be adding all of the sticks and plants. This is when it really starts to come to life. So make sure you subscribe, like and hit the notification bell so you do not miss out on that video. Hope you guys have a good day, and I hope to see you in part 3.